Brahma Gururvishnu Gurudevo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chinmayam Yapyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Jai Guru. So in our Shanti mantra, you have a copy of it that's edited. So I will chant the line, then you repeat it after me. Om Vang Me Manasi Pratishtita. Om Vang Me Manasi Pratishtita. Mano Me Vachi Pratishtitam. Mano Me Vachi Pratishtitam. Aviravirma Edhi. Aviravirma Edhi. Vedasya Ma'ani Ishtaha. Vedasya Ma'ani Ishtaha. Sutram Mema Sutram Mema Prahasihi. Sutram Mema Prahasihi. Anena Dhitena. Anena Dhitena. Ahoratram Sandadha. Ahoratram Sandadhami. Ahoratram Sandadhami. Ritam Vadishyami. Ritam Vadishyami. Satyam Vadishyami. Satyam Vadishyami. Tanmamavatu. Tanmamavatu. Tadvaktaramavatu. Tadvaktaramavatu. Avatu mam. Avatu mam. Avatu bhaktaram. Avatu bhaktaram. Avatu bhaktaram. Avatu bhaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So where are we in our text?
Chapter 2, number 5.
Chapter 2, mantra 5.
Section 1.
Yeah, there's only one section, I believe.
Okay. Should I begin?
Please.
Taduktam Rishina Garbhenu Sannam Vesham Avedamaham Devanam Janimani Vishwa Chatamapura Aya Sirakshandha Sheno Javasa Niradiyam Iti Garbha Evaitacha Yano Vamadeva Evam Uvacha As to this, it has been said by a rishi, quote, being yet in embryo, I knew well all the births of these gods. 100 iron citadels confined me down, and yet, like a hawk with swiftness, forth I flew. Thus spoke Vamadeva even while lying in the womb.
So the whole idea here, again, this is the language of mystic poetry. The idea is whatever is to be known. What is that which knows it? Even before we are born, consciousness is. You know, today in the pro-life, pro-abortion discussion, when does life begin? Vedanta has a very different answer. Life doesn't begin. Life always is. Deepak Chopra was once asked, is the opposite of life death? And he said, no, the opposite of death is birth. Life has no opposite. So bodies come and go. Lokas come and go. But you are an eternal factor. Macrocosmically, the egg of the universe, dharma. Before it even comes into being, we could move it forward into modern science before inflation, after the singularity. Consciousness is. Now, this again implies a practice. As you're moving through the various circumstances of your individual life, remember to stop in the mind. Notice the known. What are you going to see? Chidakash, the space of pure awareness. It never changes. So don't worry. You're going to be okay. Through surgeries, through financial ups and downs, through changes in location. Some of you've got a few decades under your belt. Just look back. What do you know for sure about circumstances? They always change. But you are an eternal fact. That doesn't mean we're in denial about the circumstances of life. We see them. But just like when you go to the movies, whether it's a romance or a thriller, you're there sitting in your seat. does not touch you. So also, Sarvam Idam, all this, whether it's a romance or a thriller, it does not touch you. Now, that isn't just an article of faith. That's paroksha jnanam, indirect knowledge. We have to stop, introvert the attention, look, see whether or not it's true. Then it becomes direct. Next mantra.
Sa evam vidvan smacha rira bhedat urdhva utkram yam mushmin swarge loke sarvan kama naptva mritah sambhavat yathasthanam garbhinyah iti dvitiyodhyayah. Key. Rishi Vamadeva, realizing this Atman, betook on his upward path, and after the destruction of the body, attained all desires in the heavenly world and became immortal.
Yes. So, some people look at the exoteric meaning of it. Oh, I want this self-realization, then I'm going to get everything I want. I'll get Cadillacs. I'll get big houses. I'll get all my desires satisfied. That's not what it means. So, let's say you want a Cadillac. How will you feel when you get the Cadillac? I'll be happy. Let's say you want a bigger house. How will you feel when you get the bigger house? I'll be happy. You want more money. How will you feel if you get more money? Be happy. Why don't you cut out the middle person and just go for the happiness? That's what Vedanta says. You see the difference? So with the realization of the self, first of all, we get what I call existential freedom. My existence is never threatened. I cannot be improved. I cannot be diminished. I, which is Brahman itself, is just fine all the time. And when we let go of our identification with the upadhis, with the equipment, then it becomes like your shadow. On a fall day in the early morning or in the afternoon, you got a 15-foot shadow. Like you care. You walk here from the BART station? Mm-hmm. Really? Mm-hmm. Did your shadow fall in the gutter? No. It might have. Did you even care?
No, I didn't pay any attention to the shadow.
High noon in the middle of summer. The shadow's very tiny. Oh, my shadow's so little. Like you care? Your shadow's attached to you? But it's meaningless. I tell you, all the circumstances of your life do not touch you. You're free. I would call it moksha. The other thing that it gives us finally, where happiness is. Those of us who've been going through Panchadashi, we've been deeply diving into where is bliss. Vidyaranya has been talking about there's Vasanananda, the bliss of Vasana, pure sleep. Vishaya Vasana,
Vishayananda.
Vishayananda, yeah. The bliss of satisfaction through the objects. And the third, Brahmananda, the bliss of the self. The first two done in ignorance, deep sleep, a desire. I think it's the sleep, or I think it's the objects, but it's always just myself. Mediated happiness, immediate happiness. Now, such is the power of Maya. Having heard this many times, having experienced it many times. World. Now, do you go to some place called Swarga, and then at the end of the age, get released? Unfortunately, we don't have any ghosts coming back and saying, this is what happens. So, the view of Vedanta is we don't worry too much about the hereafter. Be Jivan Mukta, be liberated right here, right now. In this very life, how shall I live to be free? Realize yourself. And the scriptures say, if you do that, you'll be fine in the afterlife. If there is anything afterlife. Any thoughts on this? Next mantra.
New chapter. Chapter 3. Tritiyodhyayah. Pratama Khandaha. Koyamatmeti vayam upasmahe kataraha sa atma yena va pashyati yena va shrinoti yena va gandhana jighritai yena va vacham vyakaroti yena va svyadu chas vadu cha vijanati. Section 1. Who is this one that we worship as the self? Which of the two is the self? Is it that by which one sees, that by which one hears, that by which one smells fragrance, that by which one utters the speech, and that by which one knows what is tasteful and what is not tasteful?
So now in this chapter, we're going to begin a discussion about what is the real self. Is it individual? The knower of sense perceptions. What do we mean by that? So, Wendy, when you were walking over here, what did you pass by?
Lots of things, dogs, people, trees, the lake.
Did you see dogs, trees, and stuff like that on driving over here?
Yeah, I think so.
Same ones as she did?
Probably not.
That's my point. So when consciousness strikes the subtle intellect and through the mind and through the senses, we get the appearance of an individual knower of the world. This is called jiva, from jivati, which means to live. It's not a word I like to use because it's a fake self, it's a phony self, it's a reflected self. Again, back to what Vidyaranya's been using on Monday nights in Panchadashi. What's the term he uses for it?
For what?
The individuality. Chid abhasa,
Chidavasa.
which means
The consciousness of
reflected,
reflection.
reflection of consciousness. So I'm not going to do it now, but you've been through many classes where I've pulled out the little mirror, my teaching aid. I turn on the light, the LED light, and I take the mirror and I shine it around into people's faces. Is there a light in the mirror, or is there not? There kind of is, and there kind of isn't. You see the light in the mirror. No, there's just an ugly face in the mirror. There's no light in the mirror. No, there's a light in the mirror. What's going on? It is the nature of the mirror, silver glass, to reflect images. So in the subtle intellect, we get this chid abhasa, this reflection of consciousness. So much you used to say, caught in the web of thought. Shankar will use the metaphor of the 6 jars of water. And you look in the jars of the water, and each one has a moon in it, a reflected moon. Why? Because it's the nature of still water to reflect. But there are not 6 moons. One moon in the sky. So it seems. Jim, had my sensory experiences this morning. You had yours, you had yours, you had yours. Is there really an individual having all these various sensory experiences? And then this chapter is going to talk about, well, there's another self. A self that illumines this chidabhasa. Witnessing consciousness, which is the same in everyone. Fundamentally different than this sense of individuality. Yet it's very substract. This chidabhasa has no real sentience, just like the mirror has no real light of its own. It has to borrow the light. So we've got these 2. We're going to talk about the 2. The appearance of an individuality and its substratum, the real self. All right, going on.
Yadetat hridayam manaschaitat sanjnanam ajnanam vijnanam prajnanam Medha drishtir dhritir matir manisha juti smriti sankalpa kratu rasu kamo vasha iti sarvanye vaitani prajnanasya namadheyani bhavanti. That which is known as the heart, this mind, that is consciousness or perception. Direction or injunction, wisdom or understanding, intelligence or knowledge, retentive power or capacity to remember the imports of books, vision or insight, firmness or perseverance, thought, independent thinking, mental depression, intrepidity, memory, recollection or imagination, resolution or firmness, life or vitality, desire or attachment, ambition or love, and such others. All these indeed are names of consciousness, prajnana.
So here, this is the chitta, the stuff of the mind, which takes various forms, yet itself has no real sentience, has no real sentience. One thought can't know another thought. One feeling can't know another sense perception. There needs to be a sentient being which illumines it all. And here we have a list of various things that the mind is capable of forming. Oh, I thought some of this stuff was Buddhi intellect. Why is he calling it mind? Don't worry about it. It's just the stuff. So this initial forking, consciousness forking into subject, object. First thing, no. Is the stuff out of which the whole world is made. Yeah. Now, why does he use the word prajnanam? Consciousness. Because this world is nothing but consciousness. We have consciousness without form. Nirguna Brahman, always known as the subject. But the stuff of the mind is consciousness appearing as name and form. Now, practically speaking, what do we mean? You close your eyes and you visualize an elephant. Open your eyes. What did you make the elephant of your imagination out of? Very stuff of your mind. There's no second substance. Well, what is the mind? Mind is the awareness of vrittis. That's all it is. Where do the vrittis come from? There's no second substance. It's consciousness itself appearing as the vrittis. When I look in the mirror, it is the mirror itself which appears as the various reflections. There's not the mirror plus the reflections. It's the nature of the mirror. Stuff to appear in it. So Swamiji would talk about the relationless relationship. The subject, Nirguna Brahman, and the phenomenal world, Sa Guna Brahman with. Now, there's one special vritti that we have to talk about. We've talked about prajnana, consciousness. But we also have to talk about ajnana, special vritti. What's ajnana?
Ignorance.
Yes. Let me give you an example. You sit here in class, you can visualize an elephant. And you know it's imaginary. But if you dream about an elephant, it seems real. Why? Because there's an additional vritti. The vritti of ajnanam. Deep sleep. Non-apprehension of myself as the waker of Arana Shakti. Vritti. Ajnanam. Then when the mind projects an image, it seems real. Sarvamaya. Sarvamaya. It's all Maya. And it's all this. Now he locates it in the heart, the hridaya. It's not geographically there. Because when most people refer to themselves, they touch their chest. The ancients thought that's where the mind was. Modern day science thinks the mind is the effect of brain activity. I'm here. That's what most of us think today. In the end, the mind is nowhere located. Next mantra.
Esha Brahmaisha Indra Esha Prajapatireti Sarve Deva Imani Cha Pancha Mahabhutani Prithivi Vayurakasha Apo Jyotishi Tye Tani Mani Cha Shutram Mishra Bijati Nitarani Chetarani Chandajani Chajarujani Cha Swedajani Chedibajani Cha Ashwagava Purusha Hastino Yatkinch Chedam Prani Jangamam Cha Pattatri Cha Yatcha Sthavaram Sarvam Tat Pragnana Netram Pragnane Pratishtitam Pragna Netro Lokaha Pragna Pratishtha Prajnanam Brahma.
There it was.
This is Brahma. This is Indra. This is the creator Prajapati. This is again all the gods and these five great elements, namely earth, air, space, water, and fire. All the small creatures and the other seeds of creation. Egg-born, womb-born, sweat-born, earth-born, namely trees and so on, horses, cattle, men, elephants, and all the breathing things that are here, the moving, the flying, or immovable. All these are guided by consciousness and are supported by consciousness. The universe has consciousness as its guide, I. Consciousness is the basis of all. Verily, consciousness, prajnanam, is Brahman.
Yes. So, prajnanam Brahma, one of our four great Mahavakyas, comes from this Upanishad. So we have these two apparently irreconcilable statements. Brahma Satyam Jaganmitya and Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. The Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma comes from Chandogya. This very long list. It's just the poetry saying the same thing. First scriptural statement. Brahman alone is real. Phenomenal world is mithya. Oh, difficult word. Some teachers translate nitya as a conditioned reality. All vessels are clay. Cup, bowl, vase, jar are a conditioned clay. The name and the form. All of this is consciousness. The people, places, things, and conditions are the conditions of that reality, formed into name and form. But actually, mithya means an illusion or a lie. Shanga will say they're unreal. Brahman alone is real. The phenomenal world is illusory. It's unreal. It's imagination. But Chandogya will say all this is verily Brahman. It's all consciousness. So we have to understand when we say Prajnanam Brahma, it has these two dimensions. Brahman without qualities, always experienced as the subject. And what does the scripture say about it? Nirmalam, without taint or dirt. Achalam, it never moves. Nirguna, without any qualities. Nirupam, without a form. Birthless, changeless, deathless. Chidakasha, empty like the sky. Yet Purnam, full of being. But then it turns around and says, all this world of name and form, gross and subtle, infinite in its variety, is also. Why is this important? Brahman never deviates from its fundamental swabha. No matter what shape the ornaments are, gold is still gold. No matter what the shape of the vessels, clay is still clay. No matter what the shape of name and form and all its qualities, gross and subtle, what is real? Satchidananda. One of the forms of the Lord, ajnana, ignorance, avritti, avarana shakti, veiling power, so that even though it's all just consciousness, in this thing called the human mind. Right? If I do not know it, I take it as real. I get all upset.
It seems like language, which was a form of communication and allowed us to create concepts and ideas, is sort of the process of maybe creating these illusions and then also cementing them, and then that cement, I suppose, becomes stronger and stronger as we keep repeating those ideas and concepts.
There's a lot of truth to that. Most modern humans think in terms of words. You're right. And our words create how we see the world.
Right. So then is there truth to also the fact that if we realize that, we don't really know anything in particular, like, we use concepts to get a sense of or make sense of what's going on, but actually that sense of what you sometimes refer to unknowing, where you don't really know what is actually happening, and you're just experiencing images and
Yet the equipment couldn't function in the world without it.
right. So there is a place for the words, but not all the time, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, the way I like to look at it is don't believe your mind. Never take it seriously. Always know that everything you think is nothing but an opinion.
Which can be true or false.
And it's certainly unreal.
Right.
And truth and falsehood in terms of the world is incredibly relative. All we have to do is look at our modern political situation. What is the objective truth of what's going on? Nothing is either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So the yogi hooks. I can only share with you Swamiji. He laughed at the world. He thought it was very funny. Thought everybody getting so upset about the world was very funny. It's all right. And that brings us peace. That's the point. Did he have opinions? He sure did. Lots of opinions. I don't think he took his own mind very seriously either. Any more thoughts on this? All right, next mantra.
So etena prajnenatmana smaloka dutkramya amushmin swarge loke sarvan kamanaptva mritah sambhavat iti tritiyodhyayah. He was exalted to the state of Brahmanhood on account of knowledge of Atman. He ascended aloft from this world and obtained all that he desired. In that world of supreme bliss, he became immortal. Yes, became immortal.
So the person of steady wisdom, when they know the Atman, they know Brahman, the self is the source of everything. And yet the self is kutastha. Yeah, as Gita says, the word that Vidyaranya borrows. Still, stable, unmoved. So again, this puny little individual doesn't go to some place. I realize in my mind the truth that it's always So the parents tell the 4-year-old, oh, Santa Claus is going to bring you a bicycle. And for them, Santa Claus is real. Then they go to kindergarten and all their kids in kindergarten say, no, there's no Santa Claus. My parents said it's not real. It's the parents that bring the gifts. Kid comes home from kindergarten and says, is Santa Claus unreal? Santa Claus really you? Yes, dear. I'm sorry. We fooled you. Did the world change? No. Was there ever a real Santa Claus? No. It was very real as an idea. Words again. Child. And where did Santa Claus go? Isn't that what was really there? There is an idea. For a 4-year-old or 5-year-old, it's a powerful idea.
So it might be that after first realizing that, oh, Santa Claus isn't real, there might still be the habit of maybe expecting Santa Claus, but then over like really seeing over and over again, there is no Santa Claus. That idea dissipates.
Well, and then you can have all sorts of other ideas. There's a wonderful movie called Miracle on 34th Street, where they want to know, is Santa Claus real?
Mm-hmm.
Well, is Santa Claus a wonderful idea that lives in the hearts of human beings? The idea of the brotherhood of all people, the ideal of generosity, the idea of the possibility of the miraculous change of people. You may not believe in Santa Claus, but do you set up a Christmas tree and put gifts underneath it? We see images in department stores of Santa Claus. It's a nice idea. But I don't think it's no, oh, wait a minute, I'm afraid I'm going to believe in Santa Claus. No, that happened. But does it take time for some of us to let go of our false ideas of the reality of the phenomenal world? No. You tell me, what's your direct experience? How do you get rid of the snake? See the rope. Repeating to yourself, rope, rope, rope. That's no good. Mm-hmm. Investigate.
And you can only do that in the moments where you see it as a snake, and then you investigate to say, is it really a snake?
Sure. All right, next mantra.
That was the end. That was the last mantra.
Of the whole book?
Yes. Yeah, the next one is the peace invocation.
All right, let's do the peace invocation.
Which is the thing we do together.
And that's
Om Vamme Manasi Pratishtita Mano Me Vachi Pratishtitam Aviramirma Edihi Vedasya Ma Anithastaha Shrutam Me Ma Prahasihi Anenadhi Tena Horatran Sandam Nahami Hritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanma Bhavatu Tadvaktaram Bhavatu Bhavatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Bhavatu Vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
what does it mean?
Om. May my speech be rooted in my mind. May my mind be rooted in my speech. Brahman, reveal thyself to me. O mind and speech, enable me to grasp the truth that the Vedas teach. Let not what I have heard forsake me. Let me continuously live my days and nights in my studies. I think truth, I speak truth. May that truth protect me. May that protect the teacher, protect me, protect the teacher, protect the teacher. Om, peace, peace, peace.
So we've now finished Aitareya Upanishad with its very important Mahavakya. So as we do with all of them, would you read the first mantra again?
Om Atma va idam ekam evagra asit nanyat kinchin na mishat sa ikshata lokannu srija iti. In the beginning, verily Atman self alone was this, the universe, nothing else was active whatsoever.
So we finished sooner than I had imagined. Let's do our closing mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.